freaking up here, I get lightheaded and get fucking excited.
I forgot to turn traction control off. It was cutting us back a lot. So I'll fix that this time.
Dude, that's, Jesus.
Let's go from third.
Yeah, third there.
Yeah.
That's impressive, Jeremy. It really is, dude. I mean, that's like freaking like amped right now.
It's,
you know what I mean?
Oh, I totally know what you mean.
It's because I'm not in control too. I mean, I totally trust you, but it's like
so scary.
It's
when you're not in control.
My legs are shaking. I can feel it up in my head. It's almost like I'm lightheaded.
It's
freaking man. Wow.
It's a different feeling.
I love the sound too.
Oh, it gets me. I'm getting used to
Every
it,
time,
but it gets me.
You went from 800 to 1,000 now, and that's another third or quarter.
It's pretty big.
Smell the tires.
Yeah.
You were freaking breaking loose.
It was trying hard to hold on. Getting that.
I wanted to try to look over at the freaking speedometer. That looks like a tachometer anyway.
It goes. It does. It freaking goes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today we're just heading up to Scottsdale right now to grab some good strong ethanol. The station we usually go to out in Mesa off of Val Vista has been out for a little bit, so I'm gonna head to Scottsdale. We're almost there right now, and Philip got a drum back there of ethanol. Taking my my main squeeze here. Say hi, boss.
Hi.
Hi. That's my little girl. We're gonna go grab some ethanol right now and fill that drum up back there. It's like a 35 minute drive to get to this station. I can hit it on my way out some places, but it's way more convenient to have the fuel at the house. These guys are running right now. They're I think they're at E90, which is super good for us. That way I can run it at a good strong E85 all the time, and that's it. That's perfect for me. So anyways, guys, I'm on my way to fill up right now, and check back in. Downtown Scottsdale now, well, South Scottsdale. Getting some fuel. It's going pretty good now. That's a smoking deal. $2.59 a gallon for, it's been testing like around E90. Don't tell anybody. We're supposed to be lower than that here in the state, but we don't. Look at this. How can you not like this entertainment? This is why it's worth the trip out here to come get this. It'll be a higher content. $2.60 a gallon for what's E85, E90. It's going to be 105, 106 octane. That's perfect. Hanging out with my girl. She's entertaining me like crazy. Yeah. So, anyways, going to fill this thing up. Probably get at least 40 gallons, maybe 50. Depends on how much it'll give me before it shuts off. I'll probably shut it off at, I know you are, about $100 or so. So, anyways, hanging out with my girl in the daily, and we'll go back, check trans fluid level, just make sure that's doing all good. Check the diff. I might even change the trans here soon. The diff's fresh. Got that freshened up when they swapped me back to the stock gearing. So it's just it's a whole new diff. Anyways, I'm gonna hang out, get this done, go back home, and we'll check that trans out. Got this thing up on stands today. Just checking over underneath, checking diff fluid, checking the transmission fluid, just trying to see about where it's at. Try to keep up on that. Stuff looks super fresh. Everything was changed out when I swapped the rear diff for another Grand Sport that wanted the gearing. I had the 390s in it, and with this much power, it's just too much, man. So I went to I went back to 342s. So he paid just to swap the diffs, and he got the benefit of having the gears that I put in there. Still the same Grand Sport diff, just one setup with 342s. So the car's up right now. Climb underneath this thing. These things, they're pretty packed under here. But I already pulled it out. That's the drain bolt right there. Check that thing, it looks good. The levels are good, the fluid looks fantastic. But what I did see is these stock exhaust, looks like I'm getting a leak. Almost. And the Cook's, that's a Cook's X pipe. It goes into, that's a 3-inch. It looks like it goes to a 2.5, which kind of bogs. I mean, you have all this stuff on here and then it just reduces it. So I think I'm gonna look up, I wanted it to stay quiet with the stock mufflers on there, because you can turn the valve off. But I think I'm gonna check on a couple exhaust systems, maybe even the Billy Boat, the bullets. I don't know, maybe we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll check on the Billy Boat bullets. It's basically just I guess it'd be like almost a muffler delete, which I think this is kind of how this is set up. When you run the stock, when you run it through the muffler, it runs through these outer ones, and when you run the valve open, it runs through these. Well, you can see the valves are all jacked up in there. They're actuated by either by a switch, or they'll automatically open up around 3,600 RPMs. They'll open up. So they're all the time open now. I pulled the fuse, and it's basically running without a muffler anyways. It's catless, no muffler. It's pretty damn loud, but I'm gonna check on getting either the Billy Boat or even going to the Corsa system. They're stupid expensive. I think the cheapest thing is like $1,000 for just the mufflers. So I gotta look on there and see. Gonna button this up. I think I'm gonna throw the drags back on here. Totally forgot about that. So I can have it set up for this weekend. We got track day Monday, so I'm going to make sure I have this thing dialed in and ready to go. Oh, my little helper. Oh, thanks, baby. You got me a leaf? Have my helper help me out here for a minute and get this thing all set up for the track day coming up. Just wrapping up, getting the welds back on. I don't care who you are. These things are sexy. I mean, I don't know any other wheels that look as good as these. I'm sure there's some. Everybody has their own opinion on these things. But when you throw a set of 15s on these vets, that's freaking next level, man. I dig it. Huge. Plus I gotta have it. Tried going out there that whole day on the cruise and everything, and I couldn't even get on the gas. Third gear at shit. As soon as third gear would hit 70, 80, it would just light the rear wheels up. It just couldn't. First gear, second gear, of course, nothing. Third gear would spin them too. So if I want to put the power down, I want to play with the big boys and the McLarens, so I gotta have these on. Maybe they don't need to. I mean, those things are sophisticated. Their traction control is unreal, what they have, and you know, most of them have newer, higher end tires. My street tires just have the Hankook Ventus. They're a good tire, but they're the cheapest thing I could find because I run these to the setup most of the time. Like I said, I don't daily it. So cleaned up the filter. I'm kind of glad I had that thing on the other day. Boost was hitting super high, man, like way more boost than I'm supposed to run. I actually ordered a bigger pulley for it. It's just too much. I don't want to risk blowing this thing up. But the filter actually stopped a lot of crap, and I'm glad I was reusing it. And who knows what I would have had for a boost if I wouldn't have had that thing on there and had the screen. So I'll run this thing. I'll probably run this thing all the time now. And I'll end up running the screen when we go to the track on the 14th. I'll swap that out. And we'll get some good footage for it. There should be some fun cars. A couple McLarens, an S4, no, an M4, I'm sorry. A ton of cars. There'll probably be about 40 of us out there. Private rental, 4 hours, and you basically run unlimited. So there's gonna be a lot of race cars out there, so there won't be a lot of passes being made by them, or me really. So the street car guys who go out there and just run their dailies for fun, they'll be able to just hot lap that thing. So good for them, good for us, because we don't have to worry about, you know, traffic and stuff. Friday nights down here, super busy, cars braking all the time. We have Max Traction coming in to do prep for us. So hopefully we'll have some really good prep. Just waiting on my friend Dallas here in a little bit. He's a big boy. So we're gonna we'll end up, he'll help me get this drum out of here. It's got 45, 50 gallons, almost 50 gallons of that ethanol in there. We'll get the hand truck, take it over to the garage, park it up, and then fill this thing up. See what that thing's actually reading for ethanol. Hopefully it's up around E90 still. It'll keep this thing right around E85, which is about where we want to have it. So gonna button this thing up and make sure she's all ready to go. I don't know if any of you guys use it or know about it or care, really. But guys running ethanol, especially if you're running over flex fuel, which is out here is like 54% ethanol. If you're running stuff up near 70, 80, 90%, obviously, you know, ethanol's super dry. Fuel systems aren't designed, you know, theoretically to run all that normally, unless you guys have a system set up for it, then good for you. But do this Lucas ethanol treatment. This stuff here, you run about 4 ounces per tank. This helps lube the system, injectors and everything, because ethanol is super dry. I usually throw this, I'm just gonna throw this thing right into the drum, just so it's in there already. That way, it just helps out with the fuel system. Gee whiz shit, but if you don't care, then you don't care, but it'll help you out. I think I need to invest in some kind of pump or longer hose or something. Someplace I can fill this thing without having to take out, do the jug every damn time. I'll figure that out here. When I put it in the other garage, I gotta have a place where I can park the car right next to it. Maybe if I put it up on the step underneath the tires, move that storage away. That might work. I'll have to figure something else out. This isn't horrible, but it'd be a lot nicer just to back the car in, stick the hose in there and pump. Maybe just get a longer hose or something. That's what she said. That's a good strong batch of Liberal Tears right there. That place for some reason lately has had some good ethanol content. People have been seeing it as high as like 90, 92, 93%, which I hope these guys are testing who don't have flex fuel, because normally around town, around the Phoenix area, you end up seeing around, I don't know, 50 to 54%. And these guys are running pretty strong, which is good. As long as they're under, well, as long as they keep under 85%, they're good. People hate it when they're over that, but the place, our normal setup in Mesa that we go to has been out. Hopefully they're getting it this afternoon, so nobody will have to go any further, but it's been nice. We have ethanol we're in Gilbert, Mesa, Chandler, Tempe, maybe it's Tempe, but we got a lot of ethanol places, but nobody has a consistent high quality or high percentage wise that people are looking for. Is it much more power for most cars? No, it's not. I mean, when I had my Subaru, it was it was from E85 to E54, I lost 5 horsepower and 8 torque. So that was at right around 400 horse, 420 torque or so. So it's a minimal loss, so it's not that big of a deal. But when you start getting these higher horsepower cars that just seem to be popping up all over the place, people run more timing, more knock resistance. People are able to run more boost, so obviously more power, especially in the boosted cars, supercharged, whatever, turbo, whatever you got. So people like to run the higher ethanol content. Some people can afford or like to run that T85. That's great. The T85 stuff's good. There's a couple other brands of companies that come out with their own ethanol and have for a long time, obviously. But it gets expensive. The Ignite stuff, you're looking at least $6 a gallon for that stuff, and I don't really know if there's any difference to make it worth it from running this, basically E85 or running their stuff in the barrel. Some people do, some people don't. Whatever. For me, I don't know the difference. Every once in a while, maybe I'll try to run it and see if there is. But at the power I'm at, I don't really need any more. And fuck, I never thought I'd say that, but I don't need any more power. It's got plenty of power. I'm putting a bigger pulley on it. It's hitting too much boost right now. Makes me wish I would have done sleeved block and a forged crank, not a forged crank, but an aftermarket crank. Something to where I could turn this thing up. But it is what it is. I need to keep it at or below 1,000, and I'm sure it's pushing quite a bit over that with the boost I'm seeing. So anyways, a couple more things to do around here, get this thing all dialed in, and hopefully it doesn't rain. We'll get out and play here in the next couple of days.